Hello students! Today we're going to examine another topic in English grammar, namely adverbs of frequency. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to construct sentences using adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency tell us how often something happens. For example, how often does a computer crash? Sometimes, not very often, hardly ever, all the time, always. We can grade adverbs of frequency from always, which constitute like 100% of frequency, to never, which means 0%. This never happens. Let's have a look at the table in the next slide. When we look at this table, we will find that verbs of frequency are graded from always, which constitutes 100% of frequency. It means that this action happens like all the time, to never, which refers to 0% of frequency, which negates the occurrence of this action. Let's have a look. Always. When I say I always wake up at 5:30 a.m., it means that I wake up at 5:30 a.m. like every day, because this happens 100%. It happens like every single day. When we say usually, it is a little weaker than always, but it is still strong. It is 90%. My father usually comes home after work. Then, weaker than usually, we have normally and generally. They are still strong. They are 80% of frequency rate. My son normally studies before the exams. It means that my son will study before the exams, except in very rare cases when he has, for example, an emergency or he is sick or something like that. Next, we have often and frequently. They are like 70% in terms of showing frequency. I often spend the vacation with my family. Then we have sometimes. Sometimes is in the middle. It is 50% of frequency. My brother sometimes plays football on the weekend, but sometimes he does something else. So here, in some weekends, he is playing football, but in some other weekends, he doesn't do so. Then we have occasionally. If we look at it, it will be like 30% of frequency. We say Saleh occasionally eats Chinese food. It means from time to time he would go to a Chinese restaurant, or he would even cook some Chinese food, but this doesn't happen a lot. It is only like 30%. Then weaker would be seldom, rarely, hardly ever. It is like 10% of frequency. It happens. This action would happen, but very rarely. It would happen in long, very long period of times. My friend seldom listens to music, so he may listen to music once a month, once every year, or something like that. Then never, never here negates the occurrence of this action. So it never happens. My mother never travels abroad, which means my mother never left our home country. She never traveled. She has not left our home country and traveled anywhere else in the world. Thank you for your listening.